Hey everyone, it's Alex here from SoCal. Welcome to the 2023 edition of the experimental vinyl tag. Over a year now since I did the last one, and so amazed with the response that I got last year. Almost 50 different people made videos in response to it. So yeah, really happy to try it again and see what you guys come up with. In the interest of minimalism and the aesthetic of experimental music, I'm shrinking it down to just 5 questions this time. And so we'll just get to it. We'll start with the minimalist aspect. So first question is, show a record that has minimalism in it. Now, what is minimalism? This guy, Michael Nyman, from the UK, supposedly was the guy that coined the phrase back in the late 60s. He was a composer in the UK. His debut was on Brian Eno's Obscure label. Went on to do a bunch of film work. And, really, at least in the modern sense, minimalism is all about, rhythm, repetition, and of course, the American, the New York school, right, with Lamont Young and, Steve Reich, Philip Glass, Terry Riley. Of course, the UK had their own folks, but really, none of this would have happened without the influence of South Asian music, Indian music, and African music, all of which heavily influenced all of these composers. So yeah, show an album or a song that has some of these minimalist elements. Like I said, you don't have to stick to a academic definition of minimalism. Really, minimalism can be whatever you feel is has that real the distilling of something down to its essence, right? So this is Michael Nyman. I think it was his debut record from 1981. I think originally came out in Japan. This is the repress from the UK. Lovely music. Fantastic track here called Waltz in F, which features Peter Brodsman on the bass clarinet and Evan Parker on the alto. Really awesome track. It's Michael Nyman. Second question is name an album that evokes a dream state or a dream sequence, maybe even a nightmare. So this is a record by Jacques Beccart, I think from 1980 something. I believe self-titled, if I recall. And you can really see that cover art kind of really speaks to the music here, which is all about fragments. It's about like sound collages, a lot of field recorded elements, some acoustic instruments and electronics as well, all sort of combined to really give you very few records have immersed me as much as this one has over the last year. And its ability to really put you in this dreamlike trance state, but much like dreams, they're highly fragmented, kind of disorienting at times, but beautiful and sort of menacing at times. Just really a fantastic record. On the Igloo label, I think out of Europe, this guy went on to become a photographer and a journalist for some major news organizations, in addition of course to being a musician. And I think his sort of idea of narrative and photography and all that sort of comes into play in this record as well. Fascinating one. So yeah, show a record that evokes a dream state. Number 3, an album with animal sounds. So many examples, in this realm of musicians and composers that have used, animal sounds in their recordings. This is a recent acquisition, one that Dom alluded to, that he helped me track down in Japan. This is Jim Nolman. He was a environmental activist and musician from the U.S. This is his only recording on vinyl on the Folkways label, playing with music animals. Just an incredible document of his idea to communicate with animals through music. And in this particular album, he's doing that with a variety of different animals, including turkeys there, as you guys can see, wolves, and whales in particular. The wolf recordings are particularly fascinating. You have the wolves, creating their own music with their howls, and then he's playing different instruments at the same time. He's got like cello and flute different times, and just really trying to create this communication, right? This conversation through music. But like I said, yeah, he was an activist as well, and I think he worked with Greenpeace as well. One of the first people to work overseas for Greenpeace and so on. Really fascinating character. I haven't had a chance to read through all the specific liner notes here, but yeah, really happy to have this. So yes, name an album with animal sounds. Number 4, name an album of strange beauty. And one of the things I love about experimental music is how much beauty there can be in things that are strange. So much like this cover, which is kind of a perfect symbol of strange beauty. This album by Valentina Magaletti. This is from 2020 and then released on vinyl in 2022. Valentina is a percussionist. She's obviously Italian, as you could tell by the name, based out of the UK now. And her sound is it's so, especially for a percussionist, just sort of so strange and so beautiful. She, she's known to use different materials for her drum kit. I know she has an album that's just where she plays a drum kit made out of porcelain or ceramic, I believe. I don't believe that's here, but she has this very shimmering sound. She really creates these worlds through her percussion and her drum kits, and just really hard to describe, but yeah, again, just very shimmering, beautiful, and at times kind of disorienting, and definitely strange. So number 4, show an album or song with strange beauty. And number 5, the last one here, sort of inspired by this great book called Broken Music from back in the 80s. That was sort of released along with an exhibit that happened that was showcasing the art and the artists that work for and with vinyl as a medium. So vinyl not just as a format of music, but physically as a material with which art can be created. So the exhibit had literal like sculptures that were made out of vinyl records, and of course it also, this book is a compendium of different visual artists and performance artists that have put out records. So number 5 is show a record with a cover that was designed by a visual artist or a record that has music or sound that was created by a visual artist. So, for example, I know Basquiat famously, put out a record. There's, many, visual artists that over the years have put out records themselves. And, in this case, here we have a visual artist that was Terry Fox in this case. So this was a record that was put out specifically for an exhibit that he did the record actually compiles a bunch of music that was performed in San Francisco and in Europe in the late 70s. And so there's photography here from the different exhibits. Terry Fox, very influential sound installation and visual artist, and really fascinating character. This is called linkage. And of course, if you have a physical sculpture made out of vinyl, that'd be awesome to see too. That certainly qualifies as well. So number 5, show an artist with an album cover designed by a visual artist, or music that was created by a visual artist. Or if you have a sculpture or a piece of visual art that is made out of vinyl, that'd be awesome too. Anyway, that's all I had. Really look forward to seeing what you guys come up with. Hope everybody's well, and take care. Bye.